All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Monday, February 28th edition of the MMAOB Daily Podcast. I'm your host, as always, Adam Martin, joined by my co-host on Monday mornings. Monday afternoons, I should say. It's not Monday morning. I wish it was morning. It's Monday afternoon, man. And for you, it's actually the evening here, Marcel. Yeah. So what's going on, man? How's it going?
Yeah, man. All good. Hope you as well. I mean, it was a fun weekend if it comes to fights, I think. Good weekend for the Dutch, right? Two title wins for Musashi and for the Ritter. And the UFC, man, I think it was an amazing event, man. Literally all fights were entertaining to me.
Yeah, the card was good. We'll talk about that. You know, I kind of want to start with the RDA news, though, just off the top before we get into recap, guys, because I think 2 hours ago, probably, I get a message from I think it's from Cole, actually. He goes, oh, man, are you listening to the show today? And RDA, Fiziev apparently is off because Fiziev's got COVID. So now it's official. And you got a bunch of guys now calling for the fight, Marcel. You have Islam Makhachev saying 170. Paul Felder saying he wants to come out of retirement. I saw Diego Ferreira said he wants to fight. A lot of guys want this fight. It's a short notice fight, but it's a co-main event on a pay-per-view card, and it's a 5-round fight. It's just a huge opportunity. It really is. I don't know what the fuck they're going to do, though, guys. I mean, it's really short notice, and it's a mess. Go ahead. Give me your thoughts. Go ahead.
If they are smart and Makhachev wants to fight and RDA is okay with it as well, do it, man. You know?
Let me just say, he said at 170. We got to mention that. It wouldn't be RDA's been cutting weight to make 155. Like, he's been preparing for that. But if the only option is at 170 or maybe like a catch weight like the Bobby Green fight was, maybe that's the option because this guy hasn't fought since November 2020, Marcel. He needs to take a fight, right?
And it's the best fight available, probably, you know? I mean, Paul Felder out of retirement. Listen, man, I like Paul Felder, but I don't see why right now. Yeah. Topuria said he wanted as well. I don't see why, to be really honest. And you got to think about it, man. It's a pay-per-view, man. People have to buy it in the US for like, how much? $85. You know, you got to have some good fights on the card. And let's be really honest, man. There are some fun fights on the card, but for a pay-per-view, it's really thin, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like the pay-per-view card, the actual, like I like the card. I can't wait to talk about this card tomorrow, by the way, because I have been doing the research for the card. There's some awesome fights in this card, and we're going to talk about tomorrow. And I'm going to give you guys some winning underdog picks again because I've been nailing them the last couple of weeks, Marcel, and I think I got a few for tomorrow. But that's for tomorrow. You know, for today, we're going to do the recap, but I want to talk about the RDA thing just because it is such big news.
By the way,
it just sucks. Go ahead.
By the way, I also saw Aaron Brunstetter posting that Dana said Gilbert Burns versus Khamzat Chimaev is in the works for 273 on April 9th. What I've heard is that it actually signed, but they are waiting for Khamzat's visa to be approved. So that's the holdup right here.
I mean, that fight's been rumored for a while. I don't think that's going to surprise anyone, right? Like, that's the fight we all want to see. That's the fight I said. Remember, guys? Like, I'm the one who called that shit right off the bat. I was like, Gilbert Burns is the guy to fight him. He's a tough dude. He's really good. That's the fight to make. I said that last October or November 1st, whatever, the day after. That's the fight that makes sense. This is the fight I've wanted to see for the last 6 months. I don't know why it took so long to get these guys fights, though. They've been talking about this fight for like the last 4 or 5 months, Marcel. Like, I don't understand why it took so long.
I think it's the visa, man. He still doesn't have the visa, so yeah.
That's not good. Hopefully he gets it. Let me get some comments, guys. So we got signed collectibles. I mean, you know, at this point, man, like I honestly don't know, but it seems like Islam is the best choice. You know, it just won't be at 155 anymore. Remember, these guys were supposed to fight twice, I think. They got booked for 2 fights, right? Or maybe 3 times. Islam and RDA.
Earlier, like last week, like toward the 20th or the 19th, right? Before that, I don't know, man. You mean Islam and RDA? Yeah. Last year, and the November fight in 2020, I think we broke that.
Yep.
And 2021 also, twice.
That's what I'm saying. So like they have prepared for each other in the past. I think it makes sense. It just I guess the UFC will have to pay RDA more probably to take the fight because it would have to be a different weight class, right? But at the same time, you know, this guy hasn't fought since November 2020 when he beat Paul Felder by split decision. That was so long ago, man. Like, it was such a long. Like, I'm a dad now. I didn't even have I don't even think my kid was even conceived at that point. You know what I mean? Like, it was that long ago, guys. Like, it was a long time ago. Anyways, I mean, of all the options, Islam makes the most sense. But I will say this, you know, I don't hate if a lightweight takes the fight instead, like a Diego Ferreira, who's I think ranked in the top 15 still. I don't hate that because at least it's in the same weight class. But again, can that guy make 155 on 1 week's notice? He can't even make it on 3 months notice. That guy's gonna miss weight too. So
I also saw Moicano was interested.
Oh yeah, Moicano is another one. I actually like that one a lot more, to be honest with you, because he just fought recently, so his weight's probably down. He didn't take much damage in that fight with Hernandez, the one that you predicted correctly, Marcel. He looked good in that fight, so I don't mind that fight at all, because I kind of was thinking they were going to do Moicano against like Bobby Green next in the main event. I don't think that's going to happen now, but Moicano, if he steps in for a 5-round fight, I'll watch it. John likes Islam. Doug likes Islam too. Marcus is praying for Islam. He sent me a DM like maybe half an hour ago. It was like, man, they better make this fight. He's going to Jacksonville for that card, by the way. So he's going to see Costa. Burns and Chimaev. It's going to be a good fight. This guy's saying call Paulo Costa. I mean, I don't even think he can make 185. Never mind 170. It definitely is a boss move by Islam if he takes him. He's got a title shot locked up, probably, right? He's going to like risk it. He's going to win the fight though. He was a massive favorite though, guys. Like even on short notice, he was like minus 700 the last time this fight was. So I still think he'll be favored. RDA says he's 170. I mean, yeah, but the thing is, he's at 170, but he'd be cutting even more weight to make 155. Like at 170, I mean, Islam might be 180. You know what I mean? Like maybe that's what he's walking around weight is right now, 170. Like how much more can he get up? I don't know. It's kind of a weird situation, to be honest with you. It's too bad. I didn't see the Fiziev thing on the Instagram with the no flight. He's taking some pictures. I don't know if I saw those photos. Let me take a look now, actually. But it's not his fault, guys. Like you can't blame the dude for getting COVID. I mean, you can't blame him, but you do have to protect yourself. And if you're not wearing a mask on a plane, I mean, it's probably not the best idea. So if that's true, then I mean, I'm not going to blame the guy, but it's obviously not the best. You should be wearing a mask if you're going to take a plane. I mean, planes are not the best thing to take right now, but this guy has to get to his fight, so I understand that. Yeah, I know, Tristan. I'm surprised they've stopped doing the backup fights a little bit. What do you think the odds would be for? They've come out before, Marcus. So like, this wouldn't be new odds. Let me just see. I think they would just take back like what the odds were before the fight was booked, and it was minus 500 Islam plus 360 on RDA. So Marcel, I mean, minus 5 to. I mean, I know it seems high, but it's not really that high. Islam might be even a bigger favorite after what he did to Bobby. Let's see here. This guy's asked Glenn saying Kadyrov's not going to help Chimaev. Yeah. Kamzak wins he's getting Usman after Leon. I think so too. UFC needs to do a better job managing event quality. I still think UFC has the best, I mean, there's no doubt they have the best fights, best fighters, etc. But you're right. I mean, some of these cards, this shouldn't happen. They shouldn't have come down to like the last second where this happens, right? Go ahead.
He's right. What happens if Colby or Masvidal pulls out? And
they're completely screwed. You're right. They had no backup. They had nothing. Like they didn't even have another fight in the card. They could have, if they had Kamzat versus whoever on the card, you know what I mean? Like they would at least have a guy to step up. Like, is there even another welterweight card to fight in this card? I don't even know. So if one of those guys gets COVID this week, you're fucked, right? Yeah. Oh, sorry, Kevin Holland. Give Kevin Holland the main event or Cowboy Oliveira. Yeah, I saw that, Daniel. He's asking about the opening odds for Islam and Oliveira. I mean, those odds are complete garbage, honestly. Minus 400 Islam, plus 250 Charles. These are just odds from Bodog. They're future odds. I think they're bad odds. I think that fight's way closer than that. I'll take plus 250 on Oliveira. You guys are amazing, man. That's those odds I don't agree with at all. I think the line was Charles Oliveira still getting disrespect. He's like a huge underdog now. He's the champ, guys. How good? Like this guy's really good. I know Islam's good, but so is Charles. I know what you're saying, man, but here's the thing. Like Islam might be like he might be more than. Here's the thing. This is what I'm saying. Like RDA's been training to cut down his body to 155. You know what I'm trying to say here, Marcel, right?
Yeah, the weight cut has already started for him.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. So like, yeah, you're right. He doesn't have to cut, but he kind of has been like he hasn't did the final cut, but during the whole camp, he's probably been, starving himself a little bit. You know what I mean, Marcel? Like he's had to suffer for that. Now all of a sudden it's a tricky situation. At the same time, he needs to take a fight. So I think he has to take the fight, honestly. That's what I think, because
we all know he takes the fight if he gets it offered. You
think RDA will take the fight?
Oh yeah, for sure. He does.
170, or would it be like?
I think he does. It depends how many options he has, but I think he accepts every fight he wants.
Yeah.
He gets.
According to Igor, Demir. I mean, Demir's he can't even make weight. No, that guy's not getting the fight. Gillespie, that guy doesn't fight. I don't understand what happened to that guy. He just disappeared kind of. Like,
it's fishing season, guys. It's
turns
fishing
down,
season.
yeah, turns down everyone though. Hey, Litchell, what's up, man? Armin, okay, so Armin, I would like this fight, but Armin said that he said he got banged up in that fight. From the
He's medical suspended, yeah.
Yeah, he wants to take a break, I think. So he can't fight. He's medically suspended. Like, believe it or not, but like smashing your face, your hands into someone's face actually, and elbows kind of actually does hurt. Like, believe it or not, like you are getting some like, bones back at you defending it. So it does hurt. Anyways, I mean, I think all of us want to see RDA in Islam. I'm just saying, like, from Islam's point of view, I would try to get the fight down as much as I could in weight. Marcel, if you could get a 160 or 165, that's the way to go. I don't think you do it at 170 if I'm him. That's just my opinion, because I feel like it's too much of an advantage for Islam at that point, because he's been putting on weight. You know what I mean? Like, RDA's been cutting weight. Islam's probably been eating since Saturday, since he won the fight, right?
Oh,
he's probably above 170 now. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He'll be the bigger guy in the fight. So it's risky, but RDA needs to fight. He hasn't fought in 2 years, Marcel. He's got to fight, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, all right. Anything else with this before we go into the recap? We got to get into the recap now. You want us to do that? All right, let's go to the recap, guys. I'm looking forward to talking about this with you. Let's talk about the main event, work our way down. So Islam, I mean, it's a good segue into it. Just absolutely destroy Bobby Green. And like I said, Marcel, I knew he'd finished the fight. I was thinking a submission. He got the back, but he just went for the ground and pound for back mount instead. I mean, it was definitely a really good performance. It was one of his best performances. And once again, he just washes a guy. Like, against Dan Hooker, I'm like, all right, Dan Hooker, he took the fight in short notice. He probably make him pay some money, right? But Bobby Green's never a guy that's like given up in a fight. You know what I mean? So I don't believe he gave up. I just think he couldn't deal with this guy, like, because he is that good. So now he's 11-1, Marcel, in the UFC, 10-fight win streak. I mean, guys, I think we're all talking about RDA, RDA, but I mean, the guy obviously deserves a title shot. I want to get your thoughts on the fight. Go ahead.
Yeah, what is there to say? He went in. He pretty much he stands for a little bit. Then he took him down, and Bobby tried to scramble up, but he couldn't get up. And after a certain time, he wasn't in full mount, and he was landing punches from ground and pound to Bobby, and Bobby was curling up, didn't do too much. And Herb interfered, and it's funny, man. Herb Dean got some backlash for that stoppage. I think it was a good stoppage. Bobby didn't do anything anymore, so I think it was a good stoppage. What can you say, man? People were like, he's fighting Green, he's unranked, he got to make a statement. Well, he did. So, good win for Makhachev. And I mean, Green, last time he got finished, I think it was against Dustin Poirier, right? A long time ago. Green doesn't get finished often, you know what I mean? So it's a very good win, and I'm looking forward to see what next will Makhachev. And for Green, I don't think it cost Green any stock, to be really honest, man. I think everybody was appreciative that he wanted to step in on short notice for this fight, because otherwise we would have Turman against Cirkunov as main event. But yeah, I mean, good for Makhachev, and for Green, we'll see what's next for him, man. Probably, everybody's saying the Jim Miller fight. I don't dislike it at all, so yeah.
You want something crazy? Like, as good as Islam is, right? He's got, okay, so here's the thing. Everyone calls him a grinder, right? But really, he does actually have more finishes than decisions now in the UFC, Marcel. He has 7 finishes compared to just 4 decisions, right? I'm surprised he's never won a bonus for one of his finishes. He's never has. He's won one fight of the night bonus for the Armin fight a few years ago, and that's it. I'm just surprised because, the guy's been killing people. It's almost like at this point we come to expect it from him. You know what I mean? Like, he's that good that he could just take guys out of there. This is a good question from Glenn. I agree. He asked about the catch weight and then coming in 200. I guess he just mistimed his cut. It doesn't really make sense. The other guy was this guy, Victor Altamirano. Why would you come in at 123? That makes no sense. You have 3 extra pounds. It's a non-title flyweight fight. There's no weight class lower for men. Like, that's just stupid. And he lost the fight. It was close, but he lost, right? I'm just saying, Marcel, like, I thought that was – I actually did some looking. I think that's the lowest weight a man's ever come in UFC at, 123. Any thoughts on that? Like,
kind of odd. Yeah, kind of odd. Maybe he wants to weigh in at 120 next, so he wants to run for the strawweight division, strawweight division. I don't know. Nah, I'm just kidding. It was odd. You don't see that often. Yeah. You only see that sometimes somebody weighing in at 124 because it's a title fight. So to make sure 123 in a non-title fight is weird.
It's really weird. I mean, guys, like you said, guys come in like 1 pound lower once in a while. Even that, I've seen numbers that suggest that if you come in under the weight limit, you're more likely to lose the fight. I've seen numbers that suggest that. So it's just something to keep in mind going forward, guys. I obviously, Green was always going to lose, but that other fight, to be honest with you, that was a close fight. I'll talk about that fight in a few minutes, but that was something that probably gave the slight edge maybe to Hernandez. Anyways, let's talk about the rest of the card. Wellington Turman defeats Misha Cirkunov by armbar. I mean, this was the closest fight in the card according to the odds, Marcel, and I think we were kind of like, I mean, anything could happen here, but I didn't expect it to happen like this. This was a real like crazy finish to me. And I think it's me, maybe not just me, a lot of us overlooking Turman's ground game because he actually has most of his wins by submission, 8 wins by submission. That's his first one, obviously, in the UFC by submission, but it's just something I didn't think would happen. I thought it would be Misha winning by submission or Misha getting knocked out. And it turns out to be Turman winning by submission after getting his ass kicked. I mean, it looked like he was knocked out on the floor and then just someone snatched up the arm. I mean, Marcel, he won the $50K bonus, well-deserved. Give me your thoughts on this finish. It was really nice.
Yeah, so fun story. The next day, I asked my dad, did you watch the fights? And he's like, yeah, but since when do you do interpreter for Wellington Turman? I was like, okay, thanks, Dad. I was like, I don't know. But yeah, I mean, well, good comeback from Turman. First round, I know he had his back, but Misha was pretty dominant in the further of the first round. Second round, Misha actually he threw him down pretty much. He went for a takedown, but Wellington was so quick with it, putting his legs up and getting that arm. Yeah, great finish, man. I honestly didn't expect him to finish Misha Cirkunov, man. I know his jiu-jitsu is pretty good, but I didn't expect him to finish Misha Cirkunov. If I expected somebody to finish the fight, would have been Cirkunov, But, yeah, good win for Turman, and probably his best win so far in the UFC, So he had wins over Perez and Alvi. So this is the biggest win of his career so far in the UFC. And, yeah, I'm looking forward what's next up for him, I think there are a lot of options.
I mean, the guy's good, man. He's pretty good. I still think his chin is questionable. I thought he was going to get knocked out by some of that grounded pound, but survived it and came back and won. So, again, he's not a guy that I don't think he's going to be like a champ or anything, but he could definitely win fights. He's only 25, Marcel. 25 and 23 pro fights. The guy's got a lot of experience. By the way, I missed this comment from John, who's saying if Ismagul was off of the fight, MMA cannot says that Demir's been training Tiger Muay Thai wing for short this fight. I mean, I want to see the guy fight. That fight with Mustafayev was supposed to happen 6 months ago or something in October. It was a long time ago, right?
Also, Demir has the same management as Fiziev, so that's maybe why they knew it quick.
The Rube. Yeah. All right, let's go to the next fight. So we got to talk about this one. Oh, by the way, picks wise, I mean, I think I did really good again. 9-2 overall. What do you know what you got? Like picks? You got 9, I think, or 8, maybe. For me, it was just this was one of the fights that got wrong, but like
I think I only got this one wrong, the one before, which I should have got right, and the first one I got Altamirano.
Yes. We'll talk about that in a few minutes too. Yeah. But let's talk about this fight. Priscila Cachoeira defeats Ji Yeon Kim by decision. All right. Well, I mean, let's talk about this. Let's talk about the fight and decision. So the first round, I'm going to give my thoughts, and I'll get your
Go ahead.
First round, Kim is winning the round for most of the round. And Priscila comes on really strong late and gets a late takedown. And in a close round, I think that giving her the round, all the 3 the judges did, I'm okay with it. I don't know, like I'm gonna hear your scorecard in a sec, but I'm okay with them giving the first round. Second round, Kim obviously won the round. Third round, Kim, according to the numbers, like again, the judges don't get the numbers, so they're going by the eye test, and somehow they missed this. But the third round, Kim outstruck her 85-52. I mean, almost double, right? Actually came out struck in all 3 rounds. Of course, the first round, like I said, the takedown, not that it shouldn't really matter. The third round, really, I mean, this is, I guess, the swing round for the judges. All 3 scored it for Kim. For Cachoeira, excuse me. All 3 scored for Cachoeira. I had it for Kim because she landed way more shots. But that last minute, I mean, that's a fighter who really wanted to win the fight more than the other fighter, almost in a way. Like the way she was coming forward with those nasty elbows. But here's the thing: like if you look at the hospital picture, Kim is fine, and Priscilla's face looks like she just got ran over by a car. It was a bad call by the judges, man. Kim should have won the fight. I had her winning the second and third round. I don't think it was a robbery though, Marcel. It wasn't the worst decision I've seen, but it was definitely the wrong decision because I think Kim won. Give me your thoughts though.
Adam, I love you, but I completely disagree with your whole breakdown.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's what most people had with Marcel, to be honest with
Yeah.
you. Like, I would say most people kind of had it that way. Kim winning the first two, but
I think so. The first round.
Sorry, the last two. Excuse me. Go ahead.
First round, Kim clearly won 4 minutes 50 seconds of the first round. And she was outstrucking her almost by ×2. But the thing is, she fights counter. And Cachoeira fights offensive, very aggressive. But you got to see that as a judge. Last 10 seconds, you take her down. They still stood up within that 10 seconds. That's a 10-9 round for Kim. Second round, don't even have to talk about that. Clear 10-9 round for Kim. Third round, Kim outstrucks her for 4 minutes. Then Cachoeira goes like zombie girl mode. And the only thing she could do was walking forward and going for it. She landed a few good elbows, but still not enough to win that round. 4 minutes of outstriking against a few good place elbows doesn't win you the round. It's a clear 30-27 to me, actually. At minimum 29-28 for Kim, but for me it's a 30-20. I'm also the only media member scoring that 30-27 for Kim. But this is a complete bad decision. It's a robbery to me, Adam. This is a complete robbery.
I'll say this. I think it's closer to 30-27 Kim than it is 29-28 Cachoeira. That's what I think. Because I think if all 3 rounds were close, but I think Kim, slightly did a little bit more. But again,
as a judge, you need to see that.
Just talking with you now is showing me though that there was 2 close rounds in this fight that someone could go the other way with. All 3 judges had the first and third for Cachoeira. I'm surprised.
But they weren't close, Adam. They weren't close. They maybe per vision it's close if you see Cachoeira walking forward the whole damn time and throwing punches.
And here's what I think. I agree, and I just want to say this quickly because I saw a lot of people saying this over the weekend. Okay, so the aggression only comes in if the striking is not even. If the striking is even. If the striking is not even in this fight, it wasn't. Kim landed way more shots. I thought. I mean, the numbers suggest that too. Then you don't go to the aggression because you just have to look at the strike stats or grappling it. But there was no grappling in that third round, anyways. So the aggression only comes into play if the striking is dead even. And then you go to aggression. If that's even, then it's octagon control. People are confused by scoring. Even people, Marcel, I don't want to say anyone's name, but people that I do think know the sport well, and I see them saying, well, she was more aggressive and that's why she won. That's not the way you're supposed to score the fight, though. It's not supposed to come into play. Now, having said that, I did mention that last week on the podcast. I said the judges could give it to her if she's more aggressive, just because that's how they think. That's how they think, Marcel. But again, you know how the fights are scored. That's not supposed to come into play unless the striking and grappling is even. And it wasn't in this fight because Kim was the better, more effective striker. But I will say this: she doesn't have much power, Marcel. She has no power at all.
Yeah, that's the thing.
She knocked out one girl. She knocked out one girl, but other than that, Marcel, when you don't have that fight-changing power, this can happen. You can get pushed back too much. Anyways, any more thoughts on this fight?
Yeah. And then you see the scorecards. Michael Bell. But Adelaide Bird and Sal D'Amaretto. Man, I mean, I know it's D'Amato, but I call him D'Amaretto because he's always drunk. I mean, what the hell? These guys have been in the sport, a woman, has been in the sport for years scoring fights, and they still can't score fights.
I know, it's so bad.
It's so awful, and this can cost Kim her career in the UFC, because
I think she'll get one more. I think
she should. She should, but you never know, But the thing also, fight of the night. This was for me not fight of the night, to be really honest, But they pretty much gave them fight of the night, I think, to compensate Kim here. You know what I mean? That they also think because that was a fight of the night. For me, a fight of the night should be very competitive, And I understand that they think it's competitive, 29-28, and it was close, and they think Kim won. Should have been 30-27 in my opinion. But hey, who am I? I'm just one voice, but I was really upset about it, and I'm still about it if I'm talking with you about it. So I'm sorry, man. Sometimes get a little bit.
You're allowed to be, man. That's why we have the podcast. You're allowed to beg. I'm looking at Michael Bell's actually not a bad judge at all. He's actually a pretty good judge. But Adelaide Bird and Sal D'Amato suck. I mean, I'll say that right now. They suck. So they shouldn't be doing this job. Someone else should do it. There's got to be someone else better at this.
They should bring those two, along with Chris Lee, to a desert island and keep them there.
Just leave them there. Drop them off on the plane. Leave them there. Let's just get some comments here. Litchell just confused by the scorecards. Dale said he had a good read and avoided those fights. Yeah, that's fair. What else we got here? No, and that's the other thing with Glenn. I agree with this, Glenn. This is a great point. Not all strikes are created equal. So, yeah, just because Kim outlanded her, the judges felt that the strikes were harder from Cachoeira and that was more effective, did more damage. Then
twice.
I know, I agree. I'm just saying, if that's what they thought, if that's their justification, then I'm okay with it. But then you saw the picture at the hospital after. One girl looks fine.
Adam,
one girl looks like she got run over by a truck, Marcel. So
Adam, that will be their justification for sure, because that's the only thing they can use. You know what I mean? Plus the takedown in the first round. That's the only thing they can use. But by the way, that picture that you saw, like, was like Kim had some kind of a thing coming out of her head. How they photographed it. That was funny.
Yeah. All right, let's go to the next fight here. I mean, this was an easy call, I think. Armin Alvarez. I don't know by the way he did it though. Like, I definitely think he'd win the fight. That I think would be like this. I mean, this was his best performance yet, Marcel. I mean, this was an absolute demolishing.
Yeah.
His last fight, he looked amazing against Giagos when he finished him quickly. But it's like Giagos, he's just an okay fighter. He's not great. Alvarez, though, he'd been steamrolling guys. He's huge for this division. And he just completely destroyed him, Marcel. Any thoughts on this? I mean, he won $50K, deserves it, I think. Give me your thoughts on this one.
Yeah, for sure, man. I mean, this was a great performance, man. He got him to the ground. He sliced him open with an elbow. And to be really honest, man, they could have stopped it there because that was a nasty cut. And I think it continued way too long, But yeah, we had Chris Toyoni again, of course. But it continued way too long. It was over, And man, amazing win for Cirkunov again. Can you imagine when I told you that when Cirkunov got the second contract for the UFC, that the UFC didn't want to give him 14 plus 14 because they thought it wasn't worth it? I mean, but I'm happy he's still around, and he's going to get a top 10 guy, I think, next.
He's really improving too. I mean, he's only 25, right? He started off his career with that close loss to Islam. It was a competitive fight, and then he won a couple of decisions. It was like, but the last two fights, he's exploded. So, I look at this guy. I want to see. He said he wants Gregory Gillespie next. That fight makes sense. That's the fight to make. I like that fight. Do you like that fight, Marcel? That one?
Oh yeah, for sure, man. Why not? But Gregory is still fishing, so if they can find him, I hope they can do it because that's a great fight.
Yeah, I agree completely. This is a good point for Tristan. I kind of agree with this, Tristan.
Yeah,
women's MMA, more problem judging. I feel like it because a lot of time in women's MMA, there's really close fights with no like knockdowns. There's no like hugely damaging shots, and you really have to be watching closely, and you have to know how to score the fights to get it right. I agree with that. I have no idea what this guy's saying. Do you know what he's saying?
Says, Marcel, do you think the fight between Islam and RDA is going to happen? I can't sleep before I know. I don't know, man. I hope so. They make it. I hope we have a quick answer, but I have no insight on that, so I have no idea. Let's hope so.
Yeah, Joe, that elbow was nasty. I think Chris Toyoni should have stopped the fight like a minute sooner too. Like it was just a brutal beating. That was like it's not just the fact it was a cut, but the position of the cut, how much blood was coming out of the cut. It wasn't stopping, Marcel. It wouldn't stop between rounds. So the fight should have been stopped a little sooner. But either way, yeah, I agree with that about fight of the night. Yeah, you're right with that. We got Owen in the chat. What's going on, man? Okay, let's go to the next fight here. Armin Petrosian defeats Gregory Rodriguez. You picked Petrosian too? I picked him. Yeah, we both had him as an underdog, so that's a good pick. I mean, I've been crushing it lately. Yeah, but this one, I don't know. I got to be honest with you guys. Like, been crushing it, but this is one where I'll be honest. If you look back at my like stats and bets and stuff, usually I'm on the wrong end of these split decisions. I'm usually the guy getting screwed. This fight, I think I was a little fortunate because honestly, I bet on Armin and I thought Gregory slightly edged him out because I thought he did more damage in the fight. And again, I watched Armin his face was so bashed up, bro. Like, again, it's the same as the Kim fight though. The numbers, and I bet on Armin, right? So you can't call me biased here because again, the numbers say he outlanded him in strikes, right? So I get that, but I felt like Gregory did more damaging shots, and that last round he had that takedown control. I think he had like mount, if I'm not mistaken. I can't remember now, but
almost at the Suluev stretch.
It was super close. Yeah. It was like a knee bar. Remember that? That was insane. If you pulled that off, again, this will happen, guys. This will happen. You're going to get some ones that go your way and some that don't go your way. Most of the time, they don't go my way. So I'll be taking this one and I'll take it into the bank. But again, it was a close fight. I thought Rodriguez slightly edged it, even though again the numbers say Armin really outstruck him here, but I'm not so sure, Marcel, because again, it's MMA, grappling matters, harder shots, more effective shots matter. I saw one guy landing a lot of shots, but not with a lot of power. And that surprised me because I thought he was going to knock Rodriguez out. I thought it was Rodriguez landing with the power of this fight. It's kind of the opposite, but I did get the pick right. So, anyways, get your thoughts on it, Marcel.
Yeah, I think Cirkunov started well, against Rodriguez. Sorry, Petrosian, of course. Man, 2 Armenians.
I know, and back to back too, eh? I know.
Yeah. And Armin and Arman.
Armin and Arman. Which is I know, I hate that. Anyways, go ahead.
So, I mean, the first round was good for Petrosian, I think. He landed some good strikes. But I think the second round was a lot more closer. And finally, with only, I think, 30, 40 seconds to go, finally, Rodriguez tried to take the fight to the ground, man, at the end of the second round. And for me, I gave him the round because of that, because it was very close in that fight, in the second round. So I went for him. It was 1-1 for me. Third round, he landed. He wanted to, I think he punched him, then Armin backed up, and then immediately he kicked him, and he kicked him right in the nose. You saw his nose busted open. And at that moment, he also went for that Suluev stretch. So for me, Rodriguez was winning. The thing is, the last minute, he walked backwards, and Armin went also for broke. And probably the judges gave him that round because of that. But I still think Rodriguez did the damage there and did more in that round. Almost had him finished with that Suluev.
I'm looking at the stats. It wouldn't have mattered anyways because Michael Bell had the first 2 rounds for Petrosian, and Tony Weeks had all 3 rounds for him. So even if he gave the last round to Gregory.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that's crazy, honestly.
I don't agree with 30-27 in this fight. Nah. It's 29-28, obviously, either way.
You can go both ways. I said it as well. Yeah.
Again, I'm looking at the numbers, guys. The numbers do say that Armin should have won. And as someone who did bet on him and obviously recommended a bet last week, that makes me feel a little good because, I got something right, but you have to watch the fight. You can't just look at the numbers. Go ahead.
I agree. This was, for me, by the way, the fight of the night, this one.
Yeah, I thought it was a great fight, too. I think it was in the running until the women. And we talked about this last year, remember? If there's a women's fight that's really good, they're more likely to give it to the women because they just generally don't get a lot of bonuses. It's just a fact. Remember we went through the whole list last year? It was like 4 or 5.
They get, what was that fight they give to the women?
Cheyenne Vlismas and Mallory Martin. And then they cut Mallory Martin afterwards.
Yeah.
Makes no sense. Just because they wanted to give $50,000 to Cheyenne. All right, next fight. Ignacio Obama. He's put on an absolute clinic against Rong Zhu. Rong Zhu showed up overweight Marcel. He thought he was actually getting a 160-pound catchweight fight against Bobby Green in the main event. Comes in at 160 here with his pink hair and gets his ass kicked. Rong's definitely a tough dude. I think he'll get his 4th fight if I had to guess. He's only 21, Marcel. He's got 3 fights already in the UFC. I mean, he's not great, but he's going to improve. But Ignacio is just special. I mean, we were talking about this guy for a while. He's only 24 actually. He's super young. He's super special. Because again, Marcel, we talked about how well-rounded he is. Not only did he win the striking in this fight, he submitted his opponent in the 3rd round. I kind of feel like he deserved a bonus, to be honest with you. I think it was like kind of a star-making performance, but UFC was cheap with the bonuses in this card. It's just one of those things. Like Turman was getting his ass kicked and then landed this crazy armbar, which was amazing, right? But is that more impressive than Ignacio dominating this dude for like 13 minutes? I'm not sure. Not. Yeah, I think Ignacio kind of deserved a bonus. Like, give me your thoughts, because to me, it was his best performance yet.
Yeah, I agree. By the way, poor Rong Zhu, man, he fell in a pink paint before the fight, apparently, and his hair got all pink. Yeah, I mean, Mundus, what can we say about him? We were high on him when he came from the Contender Series with a front kick. Then he lost to McDessie in a competitive fight. Then he won with that spinning wheel kick against Roosevelt Roberts. In a fight, he was winning for 3 rounds. And now again, he was winning again, clearly, and now he submits him. So, I mean, what can you say about the guy, man? Amazing young prospect. I really like him. I haven't wrote off Rong Zhu yet. He's only 21 years of age. And like you said, man, me too. I don't know what I was doing when I was 21. You know what I mean? This guy is fighting at the biggest organization in MMA, in the sport. So good for him, and we'll see him back. But great win for Bahamondes. Also got an extra 40% of the how do we say that?
The purse.
Of the money of Rong Zhu, of the purse. Yeah. So
I didn't think about that. I guess that kind of makes up. Well, not really, because
Rong Zhu won't be.
Wrong probably. He probably makes what, like 10,000
or 12, yeah.
12. So he got what? That's about 5,000, maybe. He got 5,000. Mm-hmm. It's not 50, but it's still not bad. Let's get some more comments here. I picked Rodriguez closer than Kim. Yeah, I thought so. It was close. That was the closest fight in the card. I really think Marcel, I think 29-20 either way was fine in that fight, But 30-27, though, I'm like, what the fuck? We got George here. Low-key, one of the best pods in the game. Great combo of recaps, capping MMA news. I really appreciate that, George. Thanks so much, man. I agree with you, by the way, George. I think we have an awesome podcast, and I really love all you guys that join. I still think it's like one of the hidden gems of the MMA community. Like, if people listen to the show, I think they'd really enjoy the show because we just talk about MMA. We're not talking about politics. We're not talking about other sports. We're not talking about business. We're just talking about MMA. Marcel?
Listen, we go hard against each other, but there's always respect between the two of us.
So that's fine. I'm just glad we don't talk about like bullshit that's not MMA related. Because let's be honest, guys, this is our escape from the world. This is our escape, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
Pereira, RDA team needs to agree Islam fight at 170. I hope they just get the fight done. Hopefully, it gets done by tonight, so tomorrow we have the fight to break down.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm thinking.
Wrong. He missed weight in his last fight too.
Yeah, he did.
So and he did win that fight against.
No, he lost. He won against Brandon Jenkins.
Brandon Jenkins, the guy from PFL, human highlight reel dude. Yeah, and that guy's actually not too bad. Anyways, yeah, I mean, I think he'll get another one, Clint, just because of his age, but the weight miss is bad. Anyways, next fight.
If you miss weight at 21 years of age already twice, man. I mean,
he's probably gonna have to move to 170, right?
Yeah.
Like he's just young, and he's gonna keep growing into his frame. Josiane Nunez and Ramona Pascual, real one-sided fight. Josiane Nunez, knocks her down. It says twice, but honestly, watching it, I think there was like 3 or 4 knockdowns. Honestly, like I'm surprised I only counted 2 of them.
You know what surprised me?
Go ahead.
That no judge scored a 29-28.
I'm surprised too, because honestly, like there's like the girl's getting her ass kicked, and then she gets this like late takedown with 10 seconds left, right? You think that one of these dummy judges would be like, all right, even though she got completely outstruck and it wasn't even close, that last takedown, like I think in the first round, right? No, Ramona's tough though, man. I actually one of my tweets went on the screen. I stand by it. Her chin is fucking good, guys.
It is.
She's a great chin. But when you say someone's got a great chin, usually they're getting their ass kicked, Marcel.
And this was she was too tough for her own good, probably in this fight.
I think so. I mean, there's no doubt this girl's doing what she should be doing in life. I'll tell you that right now, because there's only select human beings that can stand in a cage and get punched in the head as much as she did and not go down and go unconscious. So Ramona's probably in the right field, but this was a horrible fight for her. And I'll say this, Josie, I really like her, Marcel. I really like her.
She's really good.
She's got to go to 125, I think. Skip 135 and go 125.
I think she kills people there, man. For real.
Dude, she's like Jessica Andrade, right?
Yeah.
I think she's another Andrade.
Yeah.
So I think she's really good, guys. And I mean, you guys know I liked her against Bea in her last fight too. Got underdog money on her. Depending on who she fights next, we could bet on her, or I should say me. I could bet on her, but it'll depend on the matchup because the wrestling looked weak in this fight, Marcel. It looked weak. So I'm a little worried if she fights a grappler. But
this twice she beat somebody who was 2 heads taller than her.
I know. She's 5'2", fighting 145. It's pretty crazy. And Ramona's a big girl. I mean, no doubt about it. A couple other comments here. In fairness to, he's talking about his hair routine. Takes some time for the weight cutting. Yeah, I thought so too. Man, honestly, if you bet Nunes by knockout, it's kind of a bad beat. It reminds me of Benoit Saint Denis when he fought Elijah Zaleski dos Santos. It was kind of like just a beating, and I think the ref could have stopped this fight multiple times, but Ramona just kept getting up at the right time or working. When the ref says, "Hey, move! I need you to work." Mm-hmm. Paris McKinney's awesome. We'll talk about him in a second. Alvin Cirkunov. I think you mentioned on the Discord, Owen. I actually don't mind that fight at all. I think it'd be a good fight. Like, it makes sense. Yeah, it was close. She's got a good chin though, man. But she did get clipped. Actually, and fell. Alexis Davis is. Yeah, she's been cut recently. She's just not an exciting fighter really anymore. She's turned into a grinder. And actually, her last fight was pretty good against Stoliarenko, to be fair. That fight wasn't too bad. It's just crazy if they keep Stoliarenko on the roster and let go of Davis. That's kind of weird, right? If they do that, that's weird. Adam Marcel, what's your thoughts? Hey, Joseph, Misha Tate winning, celebrity big money. Not Misha Cirkunov, Misha Tate. Misha Cirkunov could use that money. Yeah, she made $250,000. I'm happy for her. I'm not a huge fan of Misha Tate, as you guys know. I used to be. I used to love watching her fight, you know what I mean? But since she's come back from her break, I just don't like her attitude really towards the other fighters, like what she was saying about Aspen Ladd and stuff. I just didn't like it. I think her attitude's a little off. But there's no doubt she's one of the best women fighters of all time. I do think it's sad, though, that, she probably got a bigger payday from Big Brother than she did win the UFC belt from Holly Holm a few years ago. It's kind of sad, right, Marcel?
I agree, and I also agree with the other statements you made earlier about Tate.
Yep. Parlay news, that's a good. See, that's what I'm saying, Owen or Daniel. With the props, you never know, right? Unless you're getting plus money on it, I wouldn't even touch them. For my bookies article, I do put the props in because they want me to, but sometimes it's like you're on the fence about it. I just like going money lines, unless there's, like I said, a huge number. Like if you had liked McKinney by submission this week, it was like plus 900. That was a really good bet, so I can understand why someone would take that, for instance. All right, and speaking of McKinney, he gets the submission over for SDM. Again, 2 weeks in a row, Marcel, we said last week, we're fucking like, why is Jim Miller plus 150? Made no sense. How was Terrence McKinney an underdog? I don't get it. Like, who was betting on Fair ZM? The guy's not that good, man. And we just saw it again, Marcel. He doesn't really have much, Marcel. No power. He just barely won 2 fights, decisions, barely edged them out. And he's getting destroyed in his other losses. He gets destroyed, really. I think McKinney's special, but, I just don't think ZM's that good. I can't believe we got plus money on him, Marcel. Any thoughts, man?
Yeah, man. So he actually, the funny thing is he wanted to strike with ZM, and he pretty much missed the strike. But in that strike, he went for the takedown, and he got it, and he dominated ZM over there. He went back to his old ways. We all know Terrence is a good wrestler.
Yep.
And people have forget that if you got so many knockouts back to back, So yeah, great win for McKinney, man. Great submission first round. Had the hype behind him, and he showed that the hype is real in that fight. So I really like it. I wonder where he goes next. People want to see him now against Mundus. I'm like, listen, man, I like these prospects matchups, but on the other hand, you got some old people in that division as well. Match him up with a guy with a little bit more experience who hasn't as the high ceiling anymore that there is, I think. I see Owen saying Terrence against Leo Santos. I actually like that fight.
It's a good fight too, yeah. Leo, he just lost to Clay Guida, but he was dominating the fight and then gassed out. By the way, John, see, this is what I said, right? He doesn't want to fight 170. I knew it, Marcel. Now already seeing 165.
I mean, it's his good right,
Absolutely, because again, he was cutting to make that 155. Hey, Ryan, I lost on 158, 1.5 in DFS due to cash being. Yeah, I know what you're saying, Ryan. It sucks. I mean, I almost picked every fight right, and still, because of that cash war decision, like, it was a break-even night for me on DraftKings. I mean, that's why I did well, but DraftKings is not easy. You have to get multiple underdogs. I had McKinney and Petrosian every team I had, and it still didn't get me a win because I didn't have Cachoeira. McKinney likes to book his new Chaos Williams. Yeah, I hope so, man. Could RDA get a title shot this win? Maybe. I mean, if he wins, maybe, but it's not. It's like a fake weight class too, so I don't know. All right, next fight. Jonathan Martinez defeats Alejandra Perez by decision. Honestly, Marcel, it was kind of not a great fight. I don't think it was kind of a boring fight in my opinion. Martinez just outpointed him. It was like basically a sparring match, except for that one punch that Perez landed with 10 seconds left in the first round that I think won him the round back, honestly, because Martinez was like winning on points, but when you drop a guy that hard and almost finish him, even with 10 seconds left, I think you still the round back. But the second and third round, Martinez just did the same thing he did in the first round before that happened. Perez could have won this fight if he just pushed forward. He just refused to be aggressive and lost. Give me your thoughts on this fight quickly.
On every other card, this fight would have been called an okay fight. On this card, it was probably the least impressive fight of all fights.
So, you're right. I mean, you know what? That's a great point. I agree with that. Of all the fights, it was probably the least impressive, right?
Yeah. Good win for Martinez, despite that moment in the first round. And also in the second round, he had a moment on the end of the round where he...
I know, that's what I'm saying. Like, that second round, imagine Marcel, you had Adelaide Bird there or whatever.
Yeah.
Did she score it? Let me see who scored that fight. I don't think she did. No, it wasn't her. Yeah, Diamato, though.
Sal D'Amato, yeah.
I like Martinez, but I'm going to probably fade him coming up soon because he got dropped by Perez. He got dropped by Davey Grant, and Cirkunov dropped him twice, too, in his debut. This guy's chin is really, really sketchy, guys, and we're going to be looking to fade him against a really good striker. I don't know who that's going to be, but if you fought like a Song Yadong, I'm taking Song Yadong. You know what I mean? Like, if something like that happened. I don't know who's going to fight next. I also will say that he seems to perform better at 145 than 135, Marcel. I think that the 135 weight cut's really hard for him, although I think Perez was the one who asked for it.
Perez requested, yeah.
Yeah, kind of weird. Do you think Alejandro gets released after this fight, or
it's possible? He's a typical guy who is always on the edge of being inside the UFC or not, and then you think he's done and he's coming back with a good win, so he's back in, and now he's out. But maybe if they give him another fight, he's back in again. So he's always on that border of being cut or not being cut. So I don't know. We'll see.
I'm looking at his resume. He only has one win over a guy in the UFC right now, and that is Eddie Wineland, who doesn't even really fight that much anymore either. Mm-hmm. That's his only UFC win, current guy. So he could get cut for sure, even though he did win a bonus his last fight. Nice job, Owen. Good job. Yeah, Baja Mondays was kind of the secret guy this week. Nice job. Yeah, Martinez. I mean, Martinez. Yeah, you got dropped there. Yeah, I said his chin is just a little sketchy. Martinez and Morales. Sure, it'd be a good fight. Vince Morales has got good movement on the feet. Good striker. Ramis Bragiama defeats Michael Gilmore. I mean, really easy fight to call, Marcel. I don't think any of us thought this would go any different. Right?
I think a very smart move by Ramis getting this fight on short notice after being pretty much out decisioned by Court McGee, being out grappled, McGee was just much better in that fight, and for Ramis was very important to get back on track, and perfect fight for him, to Gilmore down. Gilmore couldn't do anything, and he got back to his old ways by winning in a first round submission. So good for Ramis, and he needed that.
All his wins except for one are by first round submission. He's won by second round submission against that William Macario guy who used to fight in the UFC, Patolino, Daffy Duck. So that's it.
Does that mean Daffy Duck?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even know that. Okay, cool.
I just saw Wikipedia. I saw that.
Nice.
All right, last fight. All right, so I got to talk about this one. I want to talk about for a minute here. Carlos Martinez defeats Victor Altamirano. Split decision. Super close fight. Could have gone either way, honestly. Here's the thing. Here's the funny thing about this fight. I went back and watched the podcast again last week because I remember talking about this, and I said, Here's the thing, guys. I don't give myself enough credit sometimes, right? Like I know this shit pretty well. I said I don't think I have a great read of this fight, but if I had to guess, Hernandez is going to win a split decision. It's going to be a super close fight, and Hernandez is going to win a split decision. But I don't have a great read on it, so I'm not going to bet on it. Yeah. That's what happened. It's exactly what happened. I just thought it'd be so close. I didn't want to sweat the judges, so I was like, do not bet on this fight, Adam. Just stay away from it. It's going to be close. And it was. But, Marcel, it was a winner, so I'm like, damn it. You know what I mean? It's one of those ones. Because I had it predicted so good, but just didn't pull the trigger on it, if that makes sense. It was still a good night. I thought he won the fight, Marcel, by the way. I think I gave him, I believe it was the first and third, if I'm not mistaken. I can't remember now, but it was a very close fight.
Yeah, I would think Hernandez are definitely the first. I think I give Altamirano the second. And the third one was pretty much a toss-up for me. Yep. I think 29-28 either way could have been. I mean, that would have been a problem, So, I mean...
Well, 30-27.
Oh, man. I really sometimes, I always say you have always an idiot inside with the judges who is like, that you heard, for example, 50-45, 50-45, 47-48. I was like, dude, did you watch something else? You know what I mean? It's just so weird all the time. And nowadays you even have three idiots sometimes with the judges who scoring it wrong, But but sometimes I'm like, these guys are trained, You gotta have certain specifications to be a judge, And how the hell is possible that we are watching it from our couch, and we see it better? That's weird,
I know, that doesn't make sense.
That absolutely doesn't make sense. And listen, man, if only you and me saw it in a different way, and all these other people are not, we're probably wrong, But everybody, there is maybe one person who told me that they thought Cachoeira was someone from Brazil, but nobody else said that. I'm coming back to that fight again. Sorry, that was the obvious one. So I mean, I just can't see that. I'm sorry, I'm ranting again about it.
No, it's okay.
But I just can't see that.
I was gonna laugh because Anita is Portuguese, right? So she during the week they do like the media day. So now I'm having her interpret the interviews for me, so I know what they're saying. So she listened to Wellington and Cachoeira, and after both their interviews, she's like, I think they're both going to win this weekend. And I'm like, no, they won't. And then they both won. And she's like, you should have listened to me, Adam. I was like, damn it. Even though I really don't think that the one won, but she listened to her Turman. She was like, oh, Wellington's going to win. Like, his name is. She goes, oh, his name's Wellington. How could you pick against the guy? I told her we were talking about the beef Wellington thing. It's funny. Anita's got some good picks, man. I should have listened to her picks and not my own sometimes, guys. Just kidding. Even though I'm pretty good at this too. You don't want to talk? That's fine, Glenn. I don't mind talking about I don't want to talk about the war at all. But I mean, I agree with what you're saying here. The silence is understandable, I would say, just because they have other they have other things going on. These promotions, they should have said something or made some sort of statement. I agree, but I can see why it didn't. But as far as fighters not fighting, yeah, I saw Alexander Volkov now. He might have an issue, Marcel. I don't know if you saw this for the Tom Aspinall fight. That'd be terrible. So I do think you're going to see fighters from Ukraine like that Igor Peteria guy. Him and Marina Moroz, she's fighting this week because she's already in the States, so she's fine. But Peturia, like I think these guys are gonna have a hard time coming over. He's Ukrainian or whatever, but
I saw KSW has pulled Shamil Musayev from the fight because they don't want to have any Russians on the card or something. I mean, I also know over here, like it's soccer for you guys, right? Those they also took out all Russian teams out of the competitions, out of the international competitions. Yeah. So the thing is, for UFC and Bellator, you saw that graphic with Makhachev, where they didn't show the Russian flag but the Dagestani flag behind him. It was the first time I ever saw it on the UFC broadcast. So they are thinking about it, but they still show the Russian flag when he was walking out and with the tail of the tape. The thing is, I hate to see. Of course, everybody's against war, but what can you say about it to make it anything better right now? As us too, I don't know what to say about it. I was like, I also got some flack for posting an ACA fight announcement. I was like, yeah, I kind of understand it, but on the other hand, these fighters, do the fighters should get punished for what the government does?
That's what I'm saying.
It's difficult. It's a very difficult, a thin line and a very difficult decision.
I agree completely. It's a good question. By the way, Tristan's asking if you know anything about the Volkov fight. Like, have you heard anything or?
Nothing, man. It's I really feel like that many fights are gonna fall through with guys being in Russia or for example, I know they're trying to get Kutelaba out of Moldova, who's still there. So it's difficult, I mean, we'll see what happens, but it's not ideal right now. So, but yeah, it's war between those two countries, between Ukraine and Russia. So yeah, I mean, I have not a good read about it to say what's going to happen or what's not going to happen. I think it changes every day, and you see,
I agree completely.
You see fighters like the Klitschko brothers, who's actually, I think he's a major in one of the cities of Kiev.
It's like a mayor.
Yeah, mayor. That's what I meant. Yeah. I saw Lomachenko in this in this military outfit, and some others as well. I think also Usyk is also going to go back to Ukraine to help. So all these guys are trying to help their country. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. Yeah, I hope for world peace for sure.
Everybody me too, does. Man. I don't like guns, dude. I hate guns. I hate war. I just like MMA, dude. I like my family. Yeah. That's it, really. Like, I'm pretty like low key, Marcel. When this stuff happens, I try to not even. I don't have like the news on because I don't want to hear it. You know what I mean? I'm paying attention though, obviously on social media, but I try not to like get myself involved in the conversation. It's just not for me, man. Judges don't watch the fight on the TV. They watch live view angles. They do fuck up. It's true, West Coast. You're right. Marcel said that many times he wants to have a TV. Go ahead, Marcel.
Did you saw the judges? They were. I was watching like back. Yeah, they were like this.
Yeah, they have to like look around. Trust me, you know how many times I've been to a lot of fights. Okay, at least they're somewhat paying attention, right? I've seen fights like regional scene fights. The guy's looking at his phone, like the judge is on his phone. Like, I'm like, this guy's career's on the line on your phone. Like, that happens. Remember, there was that one UFC event in Texas a few years ago. It was like Andrea Lee and Roxanne, and Joe Rogan's like, this judge is on their phone, like, and then they fucked up the decision. Like, it's so bad, man. Yeah. Anyways, Tristan's talking about the hockey thing. Yeah, I saw that, Tristan. Russia's organizations absolutely nothing to do with the government. I agree with that too. It's not their fault. I do think it's Russia. Yeah, there's a lot going on, guys. Like or not, Maxwell's taxed by Russia and funds. Oh, Glenn. I mean, I don't know if you're necessarily like wrong, but I don't want to get too political here. That's all. Yeah, not that you guys are wrong. I just don't want to get too political. We only have 5 minutes left anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Bryce Mitchell likes guns. He sure does. He doesn't. He also doesn't believe in like all these real things that happen. What are you gonna say?
I did hear a crazy story from one of his contestants on the same Ultimate Fighter. Do you remember with John Gunter making that boat or whatever he was making? So all these fighters are trying to make something, and I heard Bryce made arrows with a bow, and the camera crew or whatever, the people there said like, you can't have that, and he's like, yeah, I made it, I will keep it. So they said, no, you can't have that. So they took it from him, and he was like, okay, if I don't have it back within 5 minutes, I'm gonna harm some camera people over here. That's what I heard. And So they gave it back to him because they got scared. And one contestant told me this, like, I'm shocked actually that they didn't show that on TV. That was probably the craziest thing that happened in the house, you know.
Yeah.
I was like,
By the way, I was watching his fight back. He should have lost to Tyler Diamond at the finale. And Tyler Diamond's a really good fighter. He lost a majority decision in that fight. He's in PFL now. That guy should be in the UFC. I'm just going to say that, by the way, as an aside. We'll talk about Bryce Mitchell tomorrow. I just wanted to read this tweet I just got from Damian Brown on Twitter about Sam Alvey. Sam Alvey announced that he's not getting cut. He's going to get one more fight in the last fight of his deal. And I tweeted about it. Damian Brown used to fight in the UFC. You remember him, right, Marcel?
Australian guy,
Yeah. He won a Fight of the Night award for Frank Camacho fight, I think. It was a really good fight. He said, clearly Sam has said yes to a few things the UFC knows he should have said no to. I think that this is them saying thank you for being someone else to fight when we need it. Hopefully, look after him because the 185 doesn't get a new contract. So I agree with him. Marcel, like Sam has been taking fights that he shouldn't have been taking. That's why he's getting another fight because I think he doesn't say no to fights. A lot of guys will say no. By the way, they're saying Hunter Azure has been released. He's not too bad, man. He almost beat Jack Shore. I bet on Jack Shore in the fight. I was fucking shitting my pants on the decision. It was split
by the way
for Jack. Go ahead.
Weirdest pronunciation ever of a fighter's name, Azure. If nobody told me it was Azure, I was going like Azuri or something.
Yeah. I remember because Laura said it that way. That's why I remembered it. Sorry, it was Andrew Lee and Lauren Murphy. My apologies, Daniel. I'm not Roxanne, but close enough. RDA we were just talking about that. I think RDA 165 makes more sense because he's already been cutting weight. You want to punish Islam a little bit too with the weight cut.
Yeah, for sure. Why not?
Yeah,
why not?
Bruisin, do you think McCann will get the fight? We talked about it earlier. We both like the fight, but we both think it's going to be RDA and Islam now.
Yeah,
in a catch weight. Rita DeRitter. He's been killing everyone. His ground game is great. Oh, we didn't even talk about Bellator either. Musasi looked amazing, guys. He looked amazing, and he's an amazing fighter. He always has been. I really believe Gregory Musasi's top 3 right now in the UFC, and I think he can give Adesanya a good fight and maybe beat him. I really do. It's not because he beat Austin Batterford. It's because he's been beating everyone other than Lovato Jr. He hasn't lost like in the last 7 years, except for that fluke flying knee, Marcel. Look at these wins he has, Marcel. Weidman, Hall, Belfort, Thiago Santos, Rory McDonald, Machida, Austin Vanderbilt, John Salter, Douglas Lehman, and he's finishing most of these guys too, Marcel. How good is he, Marcel? Like, he's so underrated, man.
He was just upset with the UFC by Anderson Silva twice stole his fight. He was in the running to fight DC at UFC 200, and Anderson Silva came in. He was in the running to fight Michael Bisping in England, in London, to fight him, and then Anderson Silva showed up and got the fight. So he was just annoyed by the UFC, and he knew he knew Scott Coker from Strikeforce, right? And he felt well with Bellator, so he went there. He's a world-class fighter, man, and I think he's top 3 in the world at middleweight, in my opinion.
I think so too. I really do think so. And again, it's not just because of this performance, although it was an amazing performance. It's just the body of work. It's the body of work, guys. He's been doing it for so many years too. And the crazy thing is, Marcel, he's only 36, which is older than us, but he's been fighting since 2003, and he's only 36. He has like 50 fights. He's still dominating fights. He's an amazing fighter, guys. He really is.
You know what also is funny, man? The only thing I remember he got stopped with strikes was against Uriah Hall, and he got that one back, But that's why I say, man, the Adesanya fight, Adesanya also needs to have it from his striking. That's why it's very intriguing to me. I think it's a great fight.
I think he can win the fight. I really do.
That's what I think as well.
We're not going to see the fight though. We're not going to see it. Even I don't know if you saw the press conference. Geiger was like, he's like, it's basically like me asking to be Santa Claus. We're not going to see it. So it'd be a good fight. And look, Daniel thinks he's going to beat him. Tristan also, I really do. And like I said, guys, I think Israel's looked, average lately. He's been good, but not great. Musasi's been good against, the competition's different, but Gregory he was in the UFC winning fights when he left. He didn't leave because he was performing. He left because he wanted more money. And it's actually really fucked up when the best promotion in the world with the most money lets one of the best fighters go for more money somewhere else. That's really fucked up, Marcel.
I agree.
Don't you think? So,
yeah, for sure. I agree.
Anyone in Bellator that could have the UFC right now, I know AJ McKee is probably the guy, but if not, it's Gegard Mousasi, man. I just wish he was still there because I think all those fights are good. And you got John was on with the Rafael Lovato. That would have been a good fight. Marcus was saying he wished he stayed too. Me too. RDA should do it. A show with David Jailton called him, like, ignored it. Maybe. Don't think it's going to happen. Maybe we're going to see that fight. Musasi's more well. I agree with this too. I agree with this too. He is more well-rounded, and he's a great striker, great feints, just like Izzy. The thing. What's funny, Marcel? If they fight in the UFC, I think it would be DC and Rogan just talking about how Israel's landing all these strikes and completely ignoring everything Musasi does if they ever fight. That's what I think would happen. Marcel? They would be like, "Oh, look at all these feints he's throwing." It's like, what about all these jabs Musasi's landing? And he's so accurate. I don't like I understand Vanderford's not great, but he never lost before. Yeah. And the way he knocked him out was just completely brutal, Marcel. Like, so easy. 1 minute, Marcel. And by the way, quickly, we didn't talk about Bellator. Leah McCourt, some of the worst fight IQ I've ever seen in a fight, had her opponent literally could not stand, and she grappled with her instead to give her the one path to victory she had. She could have just kicked her leg from distance and won the fight like that, Marcel. Any thoughts quickly?
Also, man, I felt like the audience made that fight a lot better than it actually was.
The audience in Dublin, Ireland is amazing, eh? Like, it really is good. Yeah.
I mean, that fight wasn't that great, to be really honest. And it was like Kavanaugh was beating her on the ground as well. And it's crazy to me because really Kavanaugh is a striker. Yeah. So, I think it's and then Coker said we see Chris Cyborg against.
It wasn't Coker. It was the guy doing the. It was the guy. I don't know who he is, but he goes. Coker just confirmed to me that Chris Cyborg's going to be fighting Sinead Kavanaugh in a few months or something. Very soon. We
don't need to see that yet. Again,
first off, they just fought in November. She got her ass kicked, and second off, she probably destroyed her knee in this fight. Probably, you know what I mean? She's doing it for a year. Anyways, I think that's going to be it for today's podcast, guys. One other thing we should mention, though, I forgot was. PFL, that guy that you said was going to win.
Jura Al-Salawi.
Yeah. Guy's awesome, right?
Yeah, he is. He's good.
So good. And an LFA, Amorim one, that girl, and she's really good. She'll be in the UFC.
Did you saw that guy, the Martin guy with that eye?
And, Mark Martin. That was messed up eye. Yeah. Go watch that if you guys missed it. Thanks, Hype. I appreciate it. By the way, this is the last question I'll take. Lovato retired due to, I think, injuries and stuff.
Nah, he had something in his head that was dangerous with him to strike, and that's why he stopped, because he's still doing grappling, but I think it wasn't healthy for him to keep doing MMA, and that's why he stopped. It's unfortunate,
He said, actually, I'm reading right now, he actually does want to fight again, but the doctor's not clearing to fight.
Yeah, exactly.
3 years. And I will say that he was fucking a great fighter, man. And that fight with Gegor, it was a close fight, Marcel. Yeah. It was very close, but the fact that he beat him is so impressive to me,
I got so much flack in the Netherlands because I picked Lovato to win that fight.
Lovato also has a win over Kevin Holland too.
Yeah, he's good, man.
Yeah, man, he's underrated. All right, let's get out of here, guys. This is it for today's podcast. By the way, Carlos feels really good too. I agree with that. All right, plug your stuff. Let's go.
Big Marcel 24, Twitter and Instagram, and my articles on Eurosport Netherlands mixed martial arts section.
Yeah, you guys can follow me on Twitter at MMAOB Podcast is at MMAOBsbreaker.com, our YouTube, as you guys know, iTunes, Spotify, all those places you guys get your podcast. Like, share, subscribe, tell your friends about it, guys. Get more people in here. It's great. Also find me at mymnews.com for MMA news, and then bookies.com. All my bets there. Best bets article. It's free. I'm not under a payroll like I was last year. It's all free now, and I've been doing really good in my bets. Got $200 this week. So if you guys want some leisure reading to read about bets, definitely get that done. Have a great day, guys. I'll be back tomorrow with Marcel at 5 p.m. Eastern to break down UFC 272. Peace.